Hello, everyone. My name is Craig Adler, and I am a retired certified financial planner. I am also known as the Angry Financial Planner. I will normally do videos on more traditional financial planning topics, subjects like investing, taxes, and generating retirement income. I will occasionally do videos on consumer advocacy because how we save and how we spend our money will have a major impact on our overall financial security. Today, I want to answer one question and one question only. That question is, when should you never, and I repeat, when should you never use Facebook Marketplace and why? But first, I want you to know I am a huge advocate of buying used merchandise. The reason why is with just a little bit of effort, we can frequently find the things we are looking for at prices that are reduced by 40, 50, and sometimes 60% or more. These small changes over a long period of time can make a major difference to our overall financial plan. As a seller, it is a great way of converting clutter into cash. When you buy or sell used merchandise, you create a win-win situation for everyone. This now brings us back to our main topic, which is when should you never buy anything on Facebook Marketplace and why? Answering the when part of that question is incredibly simple. You should never buy anything from Facebook Marketplace when it requires the seller to ship the item to complete the sale. Answering the why piece is a little bit more complex, but this is my story. I needed to buy a new camera. I live in a fairly large city, so there was a decent selection of used cameras to choose from. But what I found is if I was willing to search across the entire country, the selection was obviously far superior, and many times the pricing was more competitive. But I had a very real concern. And that concern was this: how would I know if I could trust a remote seller? I was very, very skeptical. But luckily for me, Facebook has a way of addressing this concern. Facebook has a service called Buyer Protection. You will know you are eligible for buyer protection when you see what I am showing you now. Buyer protection is also incredibly complete. It will protect you against lost, damaged, and even items that are not accurately described. Facebook Purchase Protection was the only reason I was willing to buy a camera that required shipping to complete the transaction. But luckily for me, Facebook offered that service. So I decided to go ahead and look for cameras. I finally found one that I was looking for at a price that I thought was reasonable. I went ahead and purchased the camera, and then something very interesting happened. In less than 24 hours, I received a notice that the order was canceled. But the really interesting part was the order was canceled by Facebook, and it was canceled because of suspicious seller activity. At first, I was a little bit disappointed because I was excited about receiving this camera, but at the same time, I was grateful. I was grateful because it was obvious to me Facebook was taking steps to protect me. This process of me ordering cameras and Facebook canceling the order happened not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 consecutive times. Honestly, I was a little surprised how frequently this was happening. Either I had incredibly bad luck ordering cameras, or there are just too many scammers using Facebook Marketplace. But I will let you determine the answer to that question at the end of our video. At the same time, I was very thankful. It was clear to me that Facebook was taking steps to protect me as a buyer. Not only that, if an order did go through, I knew I would have additional coverage because of the Facebook Buyer Protection Program. The fifth order was finally a charm. That order went through and was accepted by Facebook. Now, all I had to do is sit home, relax, and wait for my new camera to arrive. I was actually home the day the camera was delivered. I immediately rushed outside of my front porch, but when I looked down, there was no camera to be found. My first thought was, porch pirates! Porch pirates! But how could they have gotten there so quickly? The camera was delivered less than 10 minutes earlier. I went inside and I checked the UPS email notification more closely, and what I noticed is this: that camera was never delivered to my home. I do not have pavers, which you clearly can see in this photograph. My second thought was, how did UPS go to the wrong address with such an incredibly expensive item? I immediately called UPS and gave them the tracking number, and this is what they told me. They told me the item was not delivered to my home, but the reason it was not delivered to my home was the seller entered the wrong address. This is a technique that scammers frequently use. They do this so that it appears that a package was actually sent. Not only that, UPS was able to tell me using the tracking number, the seller never directly shipped anything. What they did was they ordered an inexpensive gardening hose from Amazon and had that sent to the wrong address. Once again, all of this was done to generate a tracking number so it could appear that they had shipped the camera, but the reality is it was done as part of a scam. Here's what I can tell you with an absolute fact. That camera was never sent. The seller, which I would now call a scammer, sent a fake item, and they sent a fake item to the wrong address. One additional point that really validates that this was a scam is a few days later, I noticed the exact same ad that I had responded to purchase the camera was posted again. Not only that, it was posted again under a different Facebook profile. I was clearly dealing with a scammer. Even though I was disappointed, I felt a little bit relieved because remember, I have the Facebook buyer protection plan at my disposal. The first step in filing a claim is you need to reach out to the seller. I was not thrilled by the first step because I knew for a fact at this point in time I was dealing with a scammer. But the process required me to reach out to the seller and try to get them to rectify the situation. I did that and I waited the required 3 days, but you can clearly see from this email, the seller never responded. The second step in the process of utilizing the buyer protection plan, after you reach out to the seller directly, you then have permission after waiting 3 days to file a claim with Facebook. When you file a claim with Facebook, they will change the order status to under review. Not only do they change the order status to under review, it indicates that you will be notified of a decision in approximately 2 business days. But the real problem is this. I made that claim 6 weeks ago, and at this point in time, I still have not received my credit. But a larger problem is I have emailed Facebook a few times requesting that they update the status so I know if I filed everything properly. Unfortunately, 6 weeks later, not a single one of those emails have been returned. My suggestion to you is this. I have absolutely no problem using Facebook Marketplace as long as I can meet the seller and look at the item I am trying to purchase. However, my recommendation to you at this point in time is I absolutely would not buy anything from Facebook Marketplace that requires shipping. The reason why is there are just too many scammers, and unfortunately, that purchase protection program simply is not working the way it was designed to be utilized. Facebook, please, you have the power to correct these problems. You have a great site for buying and selling used items. Unfortunately, it's simply not working. In the comment section, please let me know. Have you ever purchased anything on Facebook Marketplace that required shipping, and what was that experience like? Also, did you ever make a claim using the buyer protection plan, and how long did it take for you to receive your reimbursement? I will get back to as many of those comments as quickly as I possibly can. And remember, the greatest risk to our financial security is a lack of financial education. The reason I created this channel is to address that concern. If you are on this journey with me, please support the channel by subscribing.